Welcome to Franchise Focus. I'm Laura Blackmore, your host, and a franchise consultant with over a decade experience in franchising. Franchising isn't one size fits all, and this podcast helps focus on what truly matters. Each week, we pull back the curtain with top industry experts, whether you're exploring your first franchise or expanding your portfolio. Let's dive in. Welcome to Franchise Focus. Today I'm chatting with Mike Carahaly, Director of Franchise Sales at Celebree Schools, an early childhood education franchise that's doing more than just daycare. Celebree combines strong franchisee support with mission-driven model that puts kids and community first. With no nights, no weekends, or holidays, it's a business that offers a real balance and real impact. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Laura. Happy to be here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so glad you can join. If you could just give us a little background about yourself and how you ended up working with Celebree.
Yeah, I've been with Celebree for 2 years now. I have a background in franchising and preschool. I was with the Goddard School for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
So I have a lot of experience in preschool and franchising. And as I left the Goddard School, I worked for numerous other franchise concepts and eventually came on board with the Celebree School, which is very similar to the Goddard School in the early childhood development preschool franchise, and similar in the same stage that I'm entering in Celebree as I did at the Goddard School 20 some years ago. So that's my background. Yeah.
So for people that think, it's just daycare, how would you describe Celebree, what Celebree really is?
Well, I'd say Celebree School is a very high-end preschool with extended hours for the working parent. Mm-hmm. We're open from 6:30 to 6:30, so we're not open nights or weekends. Yep. It's a very, very good quality of life type of business. But it's one that I think a lot of franchisees are very proud to be helping people to do well for others while doing well for yourself.
Yeah.
And our culture is helping people grow big and small. That is everything that we do is based around that concept. So growing people big and small is not only the children, but it's the staff, the teachers. That's our secret sauce, is really giving our teachers a pathway to grow. And that helps with retaining, attracting the best top talent in the marketplace. So that's been a very successful model for us.
And how does Celebree set themselves apart from other preschools or early childhood?
Yeah, I would say that we are high-end preschool with accreditation. We're nationally accredited. We're not a daycare babysitting service.
Gotcha.
There is elements in preschool in every classroom, from babies to going till they graduate to kindergarten. So even the baby room, there's development in fine motor skills, sign language, these types of things. But what also differentiates us from the others out there is the fact that we do have the top talented teachers. We go back to growing people big and small. It's really been a game changer for us in making sure that we have the top talent and retaining the top talent. And then I think the other thing that really separates Celebree from all the others is that we have a call center. We have an enrollment center, a call center that parents can call and receive information from a live agent that had previously been a Celebree School teacher or a director. So they know everything about Celebree. They can answer any and all questions, and they guide them in for a tour and gather really important information about why they're coming in for the tour. And then to tailor the tour has provided us with an 85% conversion rate because of our call center. Wow. So again, it's been a game changer for us. It really puts our best foot forward in that first call, and it allows them, the parent, to be able to talk about their child and what they're looking for as long as they'd like. And for us then to really then capture that information to really give them an exceptional tour when they do come in.
Right. And I would imagine, though, so that you talked about the excellence of the teacher and the accreditation. How do you find the teachers?
Well, there is the tried and true methods of, the Indeed and getting the interviews. But what we have to help our franchisees and the directors is our core competencies. We have Celebree core competencies, and everything that we do is based around these core competencies. So all of our recruitment and coaching tools are based on certain core competencies that we're looking for. So when a teacher comes in for an interview, we have questions that are based on, and how they will grade, how they will answer will determine how we grade them from a scale from 1 to 10. And we're looking for 8, 9s, and 10s based on how they answer. And we're not looking for a 5 that we can turn into an 8. We're looking for the best the best in the marketplace. So then we can identify who they are and then give them a pathway to grow within their organization, and to give them stepping stones along the way has been proven to be very beneficial in retaining the teachers. We're not just looking at filling in space and ratios. We're looking at really treating our teachers like professionals and giving them a pathway to grow.
Who really thrives in this business? So what kind of owner comes in and...
Yeah, I would say that we have those owners that are just really, I think, passionate about what they're doing and dedicated to helping others and growing a team. If you're good at building a team and working with others, then you're going to really thrive in this type of environment, because we grow people big and small. We have the tools and the culture to be able to help franchisees find the best talent and grow that talent, and then grow their school and grow their business, and then scale multiple schools along the way.
Yeah.
So we have various types of backgrounds of our franchisees. We have folks that are coming from, they own other franchises, they own other businesses, they're looking to diversify their portfolio.
Okay.
They may own tropical smoothie cafes or senior home care services that maybe they're looking to expand in their portfolio and see this as a good fit in their portfolio to grow that. And then we have folks that are looking to leave corporate America, that are tired of working for somebody else, looking at this as a very proven business model. We don't have any failures. We've never moved to school. Never had any closures. So we have an impeccable track record that gives the franchisee some certainty that they're coming on board with. And then we have those franchisees that are looking to grow generational wealth. They're looking at this as a family and a legacy, and going into business with grandparents, going into business with their kids and their grandkids, and looking at the long-term picture of it. So those are the three avatars that we attract.
Okay. The people so far that I've worked with, they have experienced, they had children in preschools, and they valued how important that is. Or they saw the big weakness in the area that they didn't have that as strong. And so those are the people that tend to really appreciate what it takes. But it's no small investment. So it does take the right person to be able to do that and to build that. Yeah, but you got to have a love for this industry.
You got to like children.
Yeah. What? So how involved is an owner on a daily basis? And I'm sure that changes over time, but.
Yeah, I'd say that the involvement is really important in the beginning. First 6 months of operation, you want to be visible when the parents are dropping their kids off in the morning and when they're picking them back up in the afternoon. So those are really important points during the day. I think that, in between, it's important that they're giving tours and they're focused on enrolling. And that first 6 months of ramp up is really when you want to spend most of your time being visible in the morning again, and then giving tours throughout the day, doing community outreach programs, all the fun things of a business owner. And then as you reach that benchmark of maybe 6 months, maybe you look to open up a second school, and then you can't be in 2 places or 3 places at once. It becomes more of a semi-absentee ownership type of business.
To open a school, what's that kind of time frame? How are locations found? How is that build out done? Can you walk through that? So
yeah, we play a very active role in site selection. We have a real estate team that will really be in the forefront of the site selection and working with the local brokers in the area, and bringing sites of about 10,000 square feet of an existing building is what we're looking for. That's our prototype. And so that process is really something that we work very aggressively on, because that's really the most important component, is finding the right location that's demographically supported, and then making sure that we understand the cost of really the lease and negotiating the lease. We like to make sure that we negotiate the first 6 months of rent to be abated, so they're not paying rent until at least month 7. Gives you a nice long runway to ramp up the business. And we're active in the entire process of the lease negotiation to the architectural design, the zoning, building permits, construction, oversight, every step of the way. So with 30 years of opening up corporate schools, we know a thing or two about helping along that process. That's our expertise.
And how long does that typically take?
Well, it usually takes about 18 months to 2 years to open from the time that you sign the franchise agreement.
Okay. So this is someone that truly has some capital to invest, but is longer term thinking, that they have that time frame, which I guess helps sometimes if they own other businesses, but that they don't need something right away, which I guess makes sense.
Right.
Would you say more of your owners are already own businesses, or are some of them first time business owners as well?
I'd say it's a mix. I'd say probably more often than not, they are coming from corporate America, that they're just tired of working for somebody else. They may have been laid off a few times. They see the writing on the wall in their current situation, the corporate uncertainty. I'd say maybe 60% of our franchisees are coming from corporate America. The other, are most likely the entrepreneurs that are already investing in other, just diversifying their portfolio.
Right. And when you open a school, do you hit a certain level? You need to do pre-sales before to make sure you have a certain level of enrollment, or how do you manage that enrollment?
Yeah, it's a great
phase?
point. Yeah, we very actively like to pre-enroll prior to the school opening up. We will help the franchisee create a welcome center so that there's a place for parents to come and meet the owner, you and the director, and see renderings of the school right next to where the school's being constructed. So about 3-4 months prior to the school opening up, we'll help create a welcome center and create great excitement to bring parents in that want to pre-enroll, don't want to miss out on the availability that's currently there. So yes, we open on average about 25, 30 children because of the welcome center.
Okay. And how many classrooms do you typically have?
A typical Celebree school has 10 classrooms, and it's about 10,000 square feet is the typical size of a Celebree school. And it's usually situated on about 1.5 to 2 acre lot, and for parking and playground.
How long does that typically take to kind of fill out that enrollment to a level that someone's comfortable with? It's starting to churn a good profit.
Well, that's something that it really is something that you can ask our franchisees their experience. We have certain pro forma projections that we will share with our franchisees when they become franchisees, but you can absolutely get that information from our franchisees. Typically what we're trying to break even in the first year is really the goal of the, and certainly our franchisees and our FDD, you can see that in the numbers.
Okay, wonderful. Is there something that might surprise someone about owning a Celebree?
Well, I don't think there's any real surprises. We are very good at making sure that there are no surprises. No one likes a surprise in this
or
type of business.
Or surprise in a good way,
Yeah, I think the most surprising thing is the fact that if they're in a good way, is that they're really helping people, is that so gratifying. They maybe didn't realize how the intrinsic value of opening up a business where you're doing well for others while doing well for yourself is something that maybe they didn't anticipate being so rewarding. But there's really no other big surprises in this business because it's so predictable. Yeah. This is not a roller coaster type of business. This is more of the merry-go-round. If you like a nice, predictable, every month you're getting recurring revenue stream, what the projections are for your enrollment. There's no good days or bad days. You don't have to, hope for a great weekend to
Right.
It's very, I think, predictable. And I think that's what a lot of our franchisees love, the fact that they can project such certainty throughout the year after year of business.
In terms of that franchisee's time, how do they typically split their time between operations and community engagement?
Yeah, I think at the beginning, you're really focused on the community engagement and getting, as the enrollment up, that your focus as an owner operator, I would say it's compared to being the superintendent of the school. You're managing the P&L and the business operations, and your director is like the principal of the school. Their focus is the education and curriculum. So you have different roles and responsibilities. But yes, you're, as the owner, get the awareness out there and get involved with community events, doing open houses so that you get parents and families in to check out the school. That's really the focus. And like I said before, all the fun things that an owner does in promoting their business and getting it up and running.
Is there a certain marketing that, does well or does better, or do you multifaceted? Like what's their approach?
Yeah, I mean, it's a grassroots combined with the latest technologies of geofence target marketing, Instagram, Facebook imagery, getting in front of, really focused on where the parents are, the heat maps, to be able to really focus on not spending the money in a shotgun approach, but really targeted geofence target marketing has really been effective for us in getting the phone to ring. And when the phone rings, then we have our call center to then convert them into a tour and eventually an enrollment.
That's
So
nice.
yeah, over 30 years, we've gone really, process oriented and have it down very well, getting ramped up and enrolled because of our marketing, advertising, grassroots community outreach programs. Open houses are fun too. You have an open house where you invite the community to come in and, a Mother's Day type of event, or tea with grandmom, or touch a truck, believe it or not, is a big deal for kids. You bring a truck into the parking lot and all the kids want to touch it and see it. And then bring your neighbors, bring your family, bring everyone in on a Saturday to touch. And it's just a good way to get exposure and awareness that you're open and you're a part of the community.
I imagine when I think about it, when having my own kids, less of a cyclical nature to this, right? Because you're not necessarily timing it when school's open. People are looking to change at any point. Yeah.
Yeah. Parents need childcare 12 months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
There's no bad time to open up a preschool.
Yeah.
Really isn't. There's going to be demand. And we do our homework before we open up in a market. We know the competition is bursting at the seams. They have a waiting list, a year and a half, 100, 200 people deep. These are good indicators as the immediate demand in the market. We wouldn't go there if it wasn't. That's
right.
We're not going to let our franchisees make any mistakes in that regard. We're very meticulous of where we go because of the oversight that we have and the analysis that we do.
So I imagine there's pretty decent sized population levels, average household income, bachelor degrees, those type of things.
Yes.
Drive the
absolutely.
demographics.
Those demographics need to be there, but then also the competition needs to be full. Particularly, we're looking at, some of the top tier brands to make sure that they're at capacity. That there's
Okay. And so that you guys, do you have a pretty good sense of that before you're even talking to candidates in an area, or?
Oh yeah. We know where based on our analysis, and there are certainly, markets of interest that we have, but typically those markets, it's kind of like, when you see McDonald's, there's like a Burger King nearby, there's a Subway, there's Taco Bell. You can't serve everyone at lunch at the same time.
Right.
There's got to be more options out there. And the same thing with preschools. And a lot of times they're very close to each other. There's a pocket of preschools that they can't serve everyone. And when you consider that these preschools, they typically about 150 to 170 children, sometimes 200. But when you have a 3-mile ring of 5,000 children under the age of 6, there's only a little slice of that pie that you need to fill up the school. So we're very good at identifying where those pies are of demand, and that's how we capitalize on it.
Do you network with the local businesses as well to offer incentives for parents?
Yeah, for example, when you open up in a new market, you're reaching out to the local businesses in the area and combining and doing synergy marketing, advertising, getting your brand out there, giving away little gifts and brand awareness types of things. Preschool opening up soon. I know the Celebree School here where I live, I saw some marketing materials at the Orange Theory that I was at. They had give them hand sanitizers for just like, there's Celebree in this Orange Theory. That's just one example of 1,000 things that we do in getting the brand awareness out there.
Right. Is there anything that you think really kind of sets apart the ones that fill that pipeline, that enrollment, and truly become some of your top producers?
Yeah, the ones that just follow the system, that follow that game plan, that are taking it to the point where, we grow people big and small. They take it to heart. They really embrace that with their staff. They then hire staff that meets those core competencies, that have that passion for teaching, and then surrounding themselves with this top talent, and then to be able to promote that. I'm thinking about the rookie of the year at Celebree School that just went through this process and opened up, and within 5 months is hitting strides, hitting benchmarks that usually take much longer than that. And talking to that individual, they say, follow the program, follow this game plan. Embrace it, and you will do very well. If you get off track and start doing things your own way and don't advertise, don't market the way that we're teaching our franchisees, you get off track, you struggle a little bit, and get back on track, and then you flourish. So that is the key to, and that's with any franchise, right? Or it's just really, you follow the program, you follow those, And but the trick is to find the right company with the right people, with the right mission, with the right passion, dedication, experience. And Celebree hits all those check boxes. When you look at executive leadership team, there is no industry, no one in franchising that has a stronger executive leadership team than Celebree. And that's because of Richie Huffman, our CEO.
Right.
Has assembled, really surrounded himself with amazing people.
Right.
Our chief operating officer, Alison Chomos, she's been with the company when Richie had 6 Celebree schools. 6. Now we have like 60. So, there's nothing that she hasn't seen or done, or you couldn't ask for a more experienced, passionate individual as a chief operating officer to guide our team and our franchisees. And then we have Lisa Bricker, our chief talent officer. She's been with the company for 20 years. So
wow.
Our secret weapons are our people behind the scenes. We have this amazing, and that's why we have this track record of success. And it's not by accident. It's because of leadership.
How are most people financing this? Is it a combination of some internal capital and then SBA?
Yeah, mostly SBA. We have a couple of SBA lenders that are very familiar with our model, and you can use your lenders. But really what it comes down to is it's about a $2.5 million investment, all said.
Okay.
And typically a bank likes to see that you have the ability to put a cash injection of about $300,000.
Okay.
And then they're going to finance the balance in an SBA loan. And so the requirements are $300,000 liquidity and $750 net worth will get you an SBA loan.
Okay. Wonderful. Any or actually, in terms of your number of locations, you're saying you're about 60. Is that how many you've got open now?
Yeah, we have 59. We're working on 60 in the next couple of weeks. We'll hit that next week, I guess, in Dallas. We've got a ribbon cutting ceremony. That'll be cool.
As you're thinking forward in the future, any specific growth plans or?
Yeah, we have absolutely. I mean, we have very process-oriented company. We have benchmarks, goals throughout. We're going to probably open up another 20, 25 schools this year, 2025. We'll probably get to about 178 Celebree schools by the next 3 years as we continue to grow. And we're very careful of how we vet our franchisees. We don't award to just anybody. We really want to make sure it's a good cultural fit. And so we do a lot of vetting, and it's been a very proven model for us to find just amazing families and franchisees. And it's one thing for me to say that, but when you start talking to our franchisees in the validation process, you'll get a sense of who they are and really good people.
No, yeah, everybody I've worked with just absolutely has loved who they've talked to.
Good.
And so, yeah, you can tell that permeates for sure. Good. Anything else that you want people to know about Celebree?
No, I think that if you have a passion for helping and growing people and doing good for others, and, I can't think of a better business model than working with people that are dealing with children and growing children and teachers and families. It's just, I think, a feel-good business in which that you could be very proud of. And it's certainly a wealth creator too. We could certainly get into that when we go through our FDD together. We do have a very strong item 19 and the validation too, to be able to talk to our franchisees. So I encourage your clients to consider Celebree and appreciate the opportunity to talk about it here today.
No, that's awesome. I appreciate it too. This is, I think, just a fantastic franchise in a great industry. It is unique for some people, right? Not everybody has the wherewithal, but people that truly love the importance or really respect the importance of early childhood education, right? And the right foundation. Those it seems to resonate so well with, and we all know the impact. I mean, to see even before they get into kindergarten, they're already reading and doing all these things. These milestones that are so important.
It's life-changing. It does. I mean, it fosters the love of learning throughout their life. There's no doubt that there's an impact, and teachers, especially kindergarten teachers and grade school teachers, they can tell who's been through preschool and good preschools and those that have not, parent separation and those kind of things. So.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate your time and look forward to working with you in the future.
Likewise, Laura, great talking to you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Sounds great.
All right.
That's a wrap for this episode of Franchise Focus. I hope you found today's conversation insightful and inspiring. If you're thinking about franchise ownership or want to learn more about the brands we discuss, connect with me on LinkedIn or visit my website at blackmorefranchiseconsulting.com, or just leave a comment. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share it with someone. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on Franchise Focus.